Welcome everyone to our May Hope session, The Body as a Portal to Resilience. I am Heidi Parker, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the Community Initiatives Manager at UCLA Arts and Healing, and I am your Zoom host today. This program is presented as part of our free Hope series, Healing Online for People Everywhere, which we created to support the resilience of our global community through social emotional arts. Each workshop offers a supportive space for connection, healing, and empowerment as we navigate the changes in our world. If you have previously attended a Hope session, welcome back. And if you are new, thank you for joining us today. We are grateful you are all here to create and learn together and grow together as a community. Today's program is in a meeting format, so please keep yourself muted until prompted otherwise. We are recording the sections of this session that are like more instructional, but we will pause the recording during creating and sharing. And we do put the session on our YouTube channel, and you are welcome to leave your cameras on as you feel comfortable, as we'd love for you to actively participate. You are also invited to use the reactions feature to support each other while sharing. And our session today is scheduled for an hour and a half. So please feel free to add questions in the chat as they arise, or you can use the raise hand function. Before we begin our session, we would like to start by acknowledging the Tongva Nation, on whose land the city of Los Angeles, where we are based, rests today. We hold respect and gratitude for the Tongva people who still consider themselves the caretaker of this land. And by their example, we are reminded of our responsibility to our planet and to one another. Let's take a moment in our own way to honor the Indigenous communities of past and present on whose land you are joining from today. So I would like to welcome today's presenter, Tara Mazel. She is a licensed clinical social worker specializing in working with adults who experience anxiety, trauma, and chronic medical conditions. She received her BA in clinical psychology from Tufts University and her MSW from UCLA with a concentration in geriatric mental health, and she completed the Geriatric Social Work Education Consortium program at the Veterans Health Administration. She is trained in EMDR, somatic art therapy, social emotional arts facilitation, and she is certified in cognitive behavioral therapy. So I will turn today's session over to Tara, and thank you all for being here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. It's really wonderful to see you all and to get everyone's internal weather reports. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So the purpose of today's session is really just to learn a little bit more about our bodies and how to communicate with our nervous systems in order to help to foster resilience and flexibility in our nervous system. So I'll just go over the outline for today's session. So we'll start with some agreements for today, and then we'll do a little embodied check-in just to take inventory of how we're doing. I'll give a brief overview of the autonomic nervous system, just to kind of frame some of the things that we'll be working on. We'll do kind of a mini somatic exercise demonstration. Then we'll move into the main guided visualization, followed by a creative process. And we'll do some art making, a little bit of writing. And then if anyone wants to share anything about the experience, we'll hopefully have a few minutes for that as well. So the agreements for today's session are a couple of things. One is that everything I present today is, of course, optional for you to participate in. So, of course, nothing is mandatory. And this just means, you know, if something doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't feel right, you can either modify it, change it, or opt out, whatever is best for you. Confidentiality, so that we agree that everything that other participants share, that we maintain that confidential to this space and not share that outside of the session. Also respecting boundaries, which includes other people's boundaries, as well as your own internal boundaries in terms of how much or how little you feel comfortable sharing or engaging in a certain exercise. So just respecting both internal and external boundaries. Witnessing, so really being a witness of each other's processes and creativity, and not necessarily interpreting or commenting on other people's processes or sharing unless invited to do so. And then finally, allowing, which really just means kind of approaching these experiences with curiosity and just allowing yourself to maybe experience something new, maybe not, maybe just, if something comes up that feels a little bit, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I shouldn't be, this surprising that this is coming out in this way, just noticing if you can be curious about that and just allow that to unfold. Okay, so we'll start with a little embodied check-in. So just kind of get a little comfy wherever you are. Just do a little kind of quick scan of your internal landscape. You're just kind of noticing what you're feeling in your body right now. Just seeing if there's any areas that your attention is drawn to initially, any sensations that are kind of calling your attention anywhere in your body. Just kind of seeing if there's any kind of temperature. Maybe it's warm, maybe it's cold, maybe it's somewhere in between. And maybe there's different temperatures in different body parts. Just really noticing kind of what's there. Maybe any colors that come to mind that are associated with certain sensations in certain body parts. And then just see if you can either go back to the weather that you entered in the chat when you first joined, or if there's kind of a particular kind of weather state right now that you feel like is representative of your internal landscape in this moment. So for me, that's kind of like a warm wind, I would say. So maybe there's something that some type of weather state that you feel like represents what you're noticing on the inside in this moment. And just bring that to mind, allow that to unfold, and just visualize that for a moment. And then just see if there's any sound that maybe wants to emerge from this weather state inside you. So maybe it's the sound of the wind if you're feeling windy, or maybe it's a sound that resonates with a partly cloudy sensation, or if there's any type of sound that kind of wants to come out in association with this weather state. Just give that a moment, just allow it to do so. And just notice if you are making a sound, where you feel that sound in your body, where you feel the vibration from that sound, what it's like to make this sound. And then notice if there's any way in which your body feels drawn to move in this moment that maybe is in accordance with this weather feeling. Maybe it's just the way that your body feels like moving in this moment. Maybe it's, just your feet. Maybe it's your fingers. Just noticing if there's any way in which your body feels like expressing itself through movement in this moment, anything that would feel good. And just allow yourself to make these movements, however big or small, along with any sounds that kind of represent this weather state within you. Okay, and then bringing that to a close. And so now that we kind of have a little inventory of how we're feeling on the inside, we will move into looking more at what's actually also physiologically happening on the inside. So sometimes it can feel like, things are kind of happening to us in our bodies that, and we might feel like we don't necessarily have agency over those internal experiences. And this can especially be the case if we have ongoing health issues, or if we're under a lot of stress, or if we have a history of trauma. It can often feel like our bodies are almost working against us. So it can be helpful to learn a little bit more about these mechanisms that are happening beneath our awareness, the cues that our bodies are actually trying to give us, and how we can support these mechanisms and understand and respond to these cues that our bodies are giving us. So with that said, just want to tell you a little bit about the autonomic nervous system, which you can kind of think of as automatic. So kind of like it controls things that happen in our bodies automatically that we don't have to consciously decide to do, like our heart beating. So the autonomic nervous system has two branches, the parasympathetic branch, which is, you can kind of think of it as a brake pedal of the nervous system. It kind of slows things down. And the sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system, which you can think of as the gas pedal of the nervous system. So that kind of revs things up, speeds things up. So our nervous system is constantly kind of scanning our environment for cues of danger and cues of safety, and trying to see, how to best keep us safe and protect us. And so in today's world, there are lots of cues that our body might perceive of as dangerous in a very kind of fast-paced environment. And so when there are certain stressors that happen, like maybe there's a deadline at work, maybe you're stuck in traffic when you're late for something, or you have a conflict in an important relationship, your nervous system reacts as if you are presented with a threat, and you go into what's called fight or flight. That's the response that gets activated. And so our bodies go into this kind of survival mode to try to protect us and rev up to help us. And they downregulate other systems that aren't essential in that moment, things like digestion and immune response. So for example, you see on the sympathetic side, on the right side in that table, it inhibits stomach activity and inhibits activity of the intestines. And so that's kind of, slowing down your digestion, because you don't necessarily need to be worried about digesting your lunch if you're, running away from a tiger and you're worried about becoming their lunch. Your own lunch is not your priority in that moment. So when the sympathetic nervous system gets activated, it also increases your heartbeat, speeds up your breathing, sends blood flow to all your major muscle groups to get you prepared to either fight a threat or to run away really quickly. And it releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to kind of really get you going. So the parasympathetic nervous system, the brake pedal, is also known as the rest and digest system. And that comes online when we're feeling more at ease and relaxed. Our digestion turns back on, our breathing slows down and deepens, and our heartbeat slows. So this is a drawing that I love of the vagus nerve, which is a very important nerve in our bodies. Vagus in Latin means to wander. So it's literally the wandering nerve. And as you can see, it kind of meanders all throughout the body, from the brain all the way down into the stomach. It's kind of this super highway of information. And these are the main nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system. So of the brake pedal, kind of the slower part of the nervous system. And the nerve fibers of the vagus nerve send information between the brain, the heart, and the digestive system, kind of constantly this bidirectional highway sending information back and forth so that our nervous system knows kind of what to do and how to activate. And it controls body functions like heart rate, digestion, and immune response. So with that, we'll do a mini little exercise just to kind of have a little experiential. So again, kind of just get comfy wherever you are. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes for this exercise. You can also keep a soft gaze, whatever you're most comfortable with. So just imagine that you are walking to a fridge and you open the fridge. And in this fridge, all you see in the middle shelf right there is a giant bag of lemons. So you take out this bag of lemons, put it on the counter, and there's maybe 8 or 10 lemons in there. They're all very large. They look super yellow and glowing. And you look at them and you pick the most perfect of all the lemons, the one that is calling your attention the most. Maybe it's the biggest one or the juiciest looking one or the most brilliant yellow one. And just pick that one. And you have a cutting board and a knife there. And you just put that lemon on the cutting board and just look at it for a moment. And then cut it in half. And as the knife is slicing through the lemon, a little bit of juice squirts out. And there's a little bit of lemon juice that kind of trickles onto the cutting board. And you open it up, and it's the most juicy lemon you've ever seen. The flesh of the lemon is almost bursting, and it's bright yellow. So you cut that half of a lemon in half again. And then you pick it up and you take a really big bite right out of the middle of that juicy lemon. And as you bite into the lemon flesh, you feel the sour, tangy juice in your mouth, and you taste that, and you swallow it. And maybe you take one more big bite right in the juiciest part of that lemon. And then you put the lemon down and feel free to open your eyes again. And if you want to, you can type in the chat anything that you noticed, any sensations you noticed happening during this exercise, either in your mouth or anywhere in your body. What's something that you noticed happening? A bitter sensation in the back of my teeth, mouth-watering. Anticipation to taste the lemon, salivation. I like the smell, the taste made me wince, wondering why it wasn't an orange. Increased salivation, wanting it to be a mayor's lemon. Yes, that would be good. Mouth-watering. Okay, I felt like I could almost smell it. Felt myself salivate, cheeks clenching. Yeah, goosebumps. Okay, so a lot of different mouth reacted to the sourness. Puckering, yep. Tingling in my neck. Pleasant internal feeling of calm. Anticipation, a little nervous about the cold sourness. Then it was refreshing, gave me energy. Yes, lemon combo, lemon sugar, lemon fish, right? Connecting to the senses. It was calming. Felt nervous. Okay, yeah. So lots of different types of responses. A lot of people noticing things happening in their mouth. Some people in other parts of their body, goosebumps, tingling in the neck. And And then kind of also almost emotional states. For some people, it was calming. For some people, it made them feel more nervous. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And I think this really shows, can kind of be like a mini little example of, just by imagining something for a minute, and not actually doing anything, not actually biting a lemon, we can actually create different physiological changes within our bodies, right? Like we can induce salivation and all of these different emotional states and nervous system states just by imagining something, which, what might that tell us, right, about how we can then influence states in our bodies in general, right? If this is how powerful our imagination can be, that we can literally create saliva, right, just by imagining something, or create, goosebumps and all of these other sensations. So I thought my teeth were going to hurt, right? Yeah, exactly. And these are all things that probably would happen if you actually did bite into a lemon, right? Like a lot of these experiences are things that you probably would experience. So it almost mimics the real thing. Okay, so thank you all so much for sharing that. So this kind of brings us to, let me move this, okay, to this chart, which kind of shows, again, the two parts of the autonomic nervous system in a different way. So the top, the sympathetic, which is the gas pedal, that represents like a super, like a very strong sympathetic activation. So the gas pedal is like all the way down, right? When you're all the way up there. And that's also known as the high zone or hyper arousal. And then at the bottom is the parasympathetic, the brake pedal, also known as hypoarousal, so under. And that's like if the brake is, all the way kind of slammed all the way down. So, some of these things that were happening during this lemon exercise, for some people, it was a little bit more sympathetic, right? Like people felt nervous, which is kind of more towards the upper level of kind of this anticipation, some nervousness. So for some of you, that was kind of a sympathetic type of exercise. And then for others, it was a more parasympathetic type of exercise, where you felt more calm, you felt more relaxed, right? It kind of brought things down a bit without, slamming the brake pedal all the way down. So it's interesting. It's very individual for how different things affect different people's nervous system. It could be the exact same thing and you could have different responses to it. So that being said, when we are, when the gas pedal sympathetic is really, really revved up, that's kind of another way, really, when we talk about anxiety, that's what's happening in the body, right? Because our heart rate is increasing, our breathing's becoming more shallow. We might have a pit in our stomach. So that's sympathetic charge, right? So up that red box in the top right, when we're really in sympathetic, that can be anxiety, panic, anger, edginess, all of those things. And that's also the fight or flight response. Then when we are really super low in parasympathetic, we can be kind of stuck in that low zone when the brake pedal is all the way down. And that can look like depression, exhaustion, fatigue, sadness, right? Like experiences that are kind of more, a lot more subdued. And then in the middle, we want both of these, right? Like neither of these parts of the nervous system are in any way bad, right? Like we need and we want both of these. And ideally, what we want to try to help ourselves with is how do we maintain a balance between the two of them? So this green line in the middle represents kind of a flow. So when it goes up, it's a little bit of sympathetic. When it goes down, it's a little bit of parasympathetic. And we want to see if we can kind of maintain this wave where there's a little sympathetic, little parasympathetic, and they balance each other out. And this is what we call the resilient zone. So where we're feeling, that's where we're able to feel social connection, curiosity, openness, groundedness, compassion for ourselves and others, presence, right? Mindfulness, being able to even ground ourselves in the present. So we need those nervous system states to be, to have to be in balance in order to experience all of these states that I just mentioned. And that's what we call the resilient zone. So really also getting to know your nervous system of, okay, even in this moment, right? Like checking in with yourself, am I in the resilient zone? Do I feel like there's a good balance between these two? Or do I feel a little bit more sympathetic? Or do I feel a little more parasympathetic? Or am I kind of bouncing between the two, right? Which that gray line, sometimes if something really stressful happens, our body tries to figure out how to respond to it, and it can go spiked really high, and then it can spikes, and then it can, drop super low. And the low zone is also kind of the freeze in the fight, flight, or freeze, if you've heard that before. So that's kind of immobilization, right? When our body thinks, okay, we can't run, we can't fight, all we can do is play dead. All we can do is freeze. That's kind of the last ditch effort at survival. And so that freezing experience is when we're kind of super brake pedal all the way down. So really getting to know your own system of, where are you and what helps you get back into that resilient zone. And when we experience chronic stress, this can kind of lead our bodies to being in an ongoing state of fight or flight or freeze. And that can over time weaken the immune system, inhibit proper digestion, and potentially contribute to chronic health issues, because our bodies these are supposed to be short-term survival mechanisms that are really helpful when you need them. But they're not supposed to be states that we live in on a daily basis or that we revisit regularly. And so that can have impacts on our bodies. So we can participate, though, in helping our nervous systems become more resilient and flexible by using practices that can kind of help us more easily toggle between these two states, between the gas pedal and the brake pedal, and stay in the resilient zone as much as possible, or be able to return to it more quickly if we are bumped out, because we're always going to experience stressors, and there's so much happening in our personal lives and nationally and globally that it's inevitable that there will be times where these states will turn on. So how do we get ourselves back? And so on that note, we can transition now into an exercise to help us do just that and to build that muscle. And some things, generally that are really powerful to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, because oftentimes when we're experiencing, things are more sympathetically charged. I mean, not for everyone, right? But there's kind of a sympathetic charge right now, kind of globally. And so there are things to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, things like getting in a flow state, which is which you can get to through art, creativity, music. So things that, in the Hope series and in today's session that we'll explore, things to help you kind of experience that flow state, which will activate the parasympathetic nervous system to help regulate. And also things like earlier kind of making sounds, right? Even spontaneous sounds that stimulates the vagus nerve that we talked about, which helps to communicate, oh, okay, we're actually safe. It's okay. And the parasympathetic can kind of come back online. So I'm actually going to stop sharing in a moment, and we'll move into our experiential. So this is going to be first the guided visualization and then the art making process. So if you have your art materials, if you could bring them nearby, just so you have them right away when you come out and you don't have to be looking for them. That could be anything that you're comfortable with, any size paper really, maybe not too small, but whatever size you're comfortable with, crayons, markers, paints, collage materials, whatever you like to work with. And then also another piece of paper and a pen just for a little bit of writing. And so also you can get yourself to a comfortable spot. It is going to be a 20 to 25 minute guided visualization. So if you want to lay down, you're welcome to do that, or get in a comfy spot, whatever you are comfortable with. You can go ahead and do that. Feel free to, of course, turn your cameras off, whatever you need. And I'm going to stop my share. Okay, I'm just going to give you a moment to get settled somewhere. Okay, so 25 minutes can be a long time to be still, so please honor your needs. You know, if you need to take a break, if you need to move around, even if you at some point want to walk around your space and just listen and slowly move, that's totally fine too. Whatever your body needs and is calling for, just please listen to it. And on that note, also, you know, please take care of yourself. If you need to open your eyes or keep them open, if you need to take a break, or if you need to turn off your volume, whatever it is that you need, just please honor that as well. You know, again, everything is optional here and everything is an invitation. So if something doesn't resonate or if it doesn't feel quite right, you can either change it to something that feels better. You can opt out, you know, whatever it is that you need. There also might be times of silence for up to a minute or so. And that's just for me to pause to allow your visualization to unfold. So if you're not hearing me, know that I'm still here, and I will come back in. I'm just kind of giving some pauses to allow your mind to go where it wants and needs to go. So get comfortable. Just kind of notice where any parts of your body are in contact with something else. So this could be, if you're sitting, this could be your feet on the ground and your legs on the chair and your back on the chair. If you're laying down, just notice where all the points of contact are between your body and something else, whatever is supporting you or holding you up. And just really feel your weight being supported. And then just do a little scan, starting from the top of your head. Just noticing any sensations that you feel. Just allowing them to be there, not trying to change them. Notice what's happening in your forehead, your nose, your eyes, behind your eyes, your cheekbones, your jaw, your mouth, your ears. Notice where your tongue is in your mouth, if it feels relaxed. And scan down through your neck, the back of your neck, your throat, your collarbones, your shoulders, your upper back, your chest, Notice your heart, how it feels in this moment. And how fast or slowly it's beating. And scan down your arms. Your elbows. Down into your wrists and your hands. And your fingers. And coming back into your torso, down from your chest, your mid-back, your rib cage, your stomach, your hips, and down through your glutes, into your thighs, just noticing what's there, what sensations you feel, temperature, texture, down through your knees, the back of your knees, into your calves, your ankles, into your feet, the soles of your feet, your heels, tops of your feet, and into each toe. And maybe take 1 or 2 deep breaths through your nose. Feeling your whole body, where the breath travels to. And if you haven't already, and if you feel comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes, or you can keep a soft gaze. And this exercise is designed to begin the process of building an awareness of sensations, thoughts, feelings, and images into a more concrete form. There's never a right or wrong way to do this, only your way. And whatever happens to you on this journey, whether you follow the directions or whether you find yourself doing a variation on them, accept it as the gift that it is. Now let your attention wander to a part of your body that feels neutral to pleasant and which has no discomfort or pain. And this can be a part as small as the tip of your finger or your earlobe. It doesn't matter how much surface area this part of your body covers. The only requirement is that it's a part of your body that is completely free from discomfort or tension. And if you happen to have a lot of physical pain, see if you can find an area that is the least difficult for you right now in this moment. I invite you now to give your attention to this part of your body. Imagine that within this part, there is a doorway or a portal leading inside. And so take a look at this portal, gateway, or other kind of opening, and just notice its color, the texture, and the shape of this portal. What does it look like? And what does it feel like? And see how detailed you can get as you look at this portal and notice what you see. And I invite you now to slowly move through this entryway. So if it's one that needs to be opened, you can open it and move through it. And as you do, find yourself in a place on the other side of it. And what is there? Take notice. This is an imaginary place that is all your own. It doesn't have to conform to nature or what we typically conceive of as reality at all. This is a very special place, a safe sanctuary. The most incredible thing about this place is that you have absolute agency over it. This place is full of wonders, goodies, energies, and qualities just for you. Invite these qualities in, bring them in, and notice how these qualities make you feel. Nothing enters, nothing leaves without your desire. Even getting to this place, you are the only one who knows how to do that. And that in itself makes it safe. This is also a place where you are free from your own critical thoughts and judgments and mental chatter. Look around you and call in what helps you feel safe. What brings you the feeling, the wonder, the body sensation of here, I am truly safe. And if safety is a challenging feeling or difficult to imagine, think about another quality like ease, or imagine what it could be like if you were to feel safe. Notice color, texture, lightness, heaviness, Notice any smells, temperature, any sounds. Using your imagination, create this container, this place for yourself where you can simply be. Besides safety, another quality that lives in this place is nourishment. This is a place where you are nourished on every level, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. In this place, you are nourished. Look around. Call in some ways that you could feel nourished in your life. Colors, textures, shapes, beings, whatever you need. Give yourself permission to have this, to give this to yourself. As you meander through this place, feeling nourished on so many levels and feeling safe, notice that in this place, it is possible for you to feel serene and calm. There is no need to strive in this place. You have already arrived. This is the place where all of you is accepted and acceptable. And you can relax in deep, deep serenity and be rested. You can rest into a sense of deep calmness and tranquility. All of your senses come alive in this place. Let the sounds and smells nourish you, bringing you whatever you need. Another quality that lives in this place is nurturance. When you are here, you can feel held. You feel seen, and you can feel heard. You get what you need without even asking for it. This amazing place is all your own. And you can be nurtured, uplifted, deeply cared for in this place. Let your heart open to it. Let yourself drink this in. And whatever colors and images that come to you. And remember that you have agency over this place. You can bring in anything here that supports your feeling safe, serene, nourished, and nurtured. Another quality that lives in this place is the quality of pleasure and awe. There's incredible pleasure in everything you feel, touch, smell, and see. In everything you taste and everything you hear, there is awe and pleasure. Notice what you would love to have that would bring you these qualities of pleasure and awe, and invite it in now. Bring it into this wondrous place inside of you. And again, feel that pleasure and sense of awe on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Notice if there are any other qualities that you would like to bring into this place, and allow yourself to do so now. Imagine on a sensory level how these qualities would feel, how they would be represented in this place. What would you hear, see, feel, touch, smell, and taste? As you meander through this place, letting yourself open up to these qualities that are here for you. Remember, this is yours. And you can have this experience anytime that you want. It is connected to you, to the doorway or portal, to your body. This place lives and breathes inside of you. And you can come here whenever you like. If you have time in your day to luxuriate in this place, do it as much as you can. You can also let yourself anchor it to something you do regularly, like showering. When you shower, then you go through the portal, find yourself in this place of rest, renewal, regeneration. And you can allow these qualities to grow in you. This is a work in progress. It grows and changes as you deepen the experience. So I'm going to invite you now to take a last look around this place for now. Just noticing one more time everything you see around you and what this place feels like. And then slowly turn towards the portal and see what it looks like from this side. And step back through it, back into your body. And when you feel ready, wiggle your toes, feel your feet on the ground, feel your body where it's in contact with something else. And gently start to wake up, remembering your connection to this place and remembering where you are now. And slowly make your way to your art materials. Keep this feeling of this place alive and flowing as you go to your art materials to recreate it in some way. And I won't be playing any music, as the same music may not resonate for everyone, but feel free to play your own if there's something that you feel like could support you in this experience. Feel free to play your own music if you're on mute. And so once you get to your art materials, there's some options for creating your image. You could either represent it, the actual sanctuary or place that you visualized. This could be abstract or literal, and it could include the qualities, the sights, the sounds, tastes, scents, and textures. Or you could create more of the felt sense of what it's like to be in this place. You could also represent the physical sensations that you noticed in your body, the emotions that you had while you were in this place. Or you could create the portal to the place. This image can also be a combination of all of these options, or a different option that you come up with that resonates for you. However you want to represent some part of this place or this experience. We'll have about 20 minutes or so for the art making, and you can get started whenever you're ready. And I'll let you know when we have just a couple minutes left. And you're just starting to make your final marks on the paper, bringing your image to a close. And then see if you have another piece of paper or a notebook nearby, and some kind of writing utensil. And just look at your image that you created for a moment. And give it a title. You can either write this title on the image or on the other piece of paper or notebook. And just see if there's a word or a phrase that comes to mind right now that feels like it would represent this place or this image or whatever you created. And this can be a working title. It's not set in stone. Just in this moment, give it some kind of title. And then while you're looking at your image, I imagine that it could talk to you, that it could communicate with you. And as you're looking at it, allow it to finish the 3 sentences, prompts that are on the screen here. So look at the image and let it tell you, I am the one who, and just whatever words come to mind initially are the right ones. What I'm here to tell you is, and what I need from you is. And just imagine that the image is telling you these things. And we'll just take a minute or two for that. And then we have a couple minutes. So if anyone wants to share anything either about your experience with any of the exercises, or if you want to share your image or anything about what you noticed while creating it, or your writing, or any part of anything, if you want to share anything with us, you're welcome to do so. You could maybe use the raise hand function, and we have time for at least a few people maybe to share a little bit. I will take my... Well, thank you all so much for being here with us, and I'll leave it over to Heidi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Tara, for leading us through this just powerful and resilience building hope session. And I want to thank all of you for spending part of your day with us. We'd like to just take a quick moment to acknowledge the Los Angeles Department of Arts and Culture. They have provided support for this series, and so we appreciate that, which allows us to keep it as no cost. So we do have a few upcoming trainings and upcoming Hope series that I do want to just share with you. Those are on our website as well. And then you will get a follow-up email this afternoon that includes a brief survey about your experience. I did also place that survey in the chat, so you can grab the link from there, and it will also be in that email. There'll be a couple other resources in that email as well, and the link to our YouTube channel, which this recording will be posted sometime within the next week or so. We do hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you at a future Hope workshop. And I see a note in the chat, Tara's email will also be in that follow-up email. So her contact email that will be there, as will be the slides. So I appreciate all of you and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you all so much.